It all starts again after the international break at the Etihad for what has been the Premier League's biggest game of the last 5-6 years. And Liverpool know if they are to keep alive their hopes of a place in the top 4, they must put a dent in Manchester City's title hopes.
Well, I think there's pressure on both sides, isn't it? Manchester City chasing that Arsenal at the top of the league. Both teams have not hit the heights that we've expected. I think Manchester City 5 points behind what they were at this stage last season. Liverpool 18 points behind, and I think that is the gulf between the two teams at this moment in time. But saying that, Liverpool against the top teams have performed exceptionally well this season. It's against the lesser teams that they've slipped up. They're playing against the top side today, and they'll have to be somewhere near the best if they're going to get any result here.
And just prior to the international break, Manchester City won their last 2 games and scored 13 goals in them as well, a 7-0 and a 6-0. Let's take a check on the two teams, starting with Liverpool. The first bit of team news was handed to us yesterday by Jurgen Klopp when he revealed that Luis Diaz wouldn't be involved, having returned to training, and that Darwin Núñez was still a doubt after, of course, he suffered that cut that caused him to withdraw from international duty. He doesn't start the game. Diogo Jota does start. Other than that, I think pretty much as expected.
Yeah, I think back four kind of picks itself at this moment in time. Midfield is always a key area, and I think Harvey Elliott, having featured in every game so far this season, is no surprise that he comes in, and he has played against most of the big sides as well. Jordan Henderson, Fabinho alongside him, will have to be very, very much on their game. And up front, you know, it could have been Darwin Núñez that started on the left-hand side, but it's got to be Diogo Jota. And I think they're more than capable of upsetting Manchester City, who themselves have not looked unbeatable, you have to say, this season. There have been like times when they've looked a little bit vulnerable, but there's no doubt that there's still a quality outfit and a quality side with quality individuals in the team.
Well, it would be no surprise to see if Liverpool had a spy watching when Manchester City's players got off their team coach, what, about 90 minutes before kick-off, to see whether or not Erling Haaland was amongst the players on duty. He didn't get off the bus, he's not involved, he pulled out of international duty with Norway over the past fortnight. It was always a big doubt that he would start this game. He's not involved at all. So Julian Alvarez, who did pull out of Argentina's second game of the international break, starts up front through the middle. Also no Phil Foden with appendicitis. So it's Manchester City's 2 top scorers out for this game. 55 goals between them this season, of course. Most of them belong to Haaland.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alvarez coming in, the World Cup winner, has scored 12 goals this season already, only 5 in the Premier League right now. But Haaland with 42, is he a big loss? Well, I think we've got bigger fish, obviously, to fry as well. Manchester City got big games in the Champions League and obviously cup ties as well. So I think to risk him for this game was maybe just asking a little bit too much. But certainly, when you score 42 goals and you're the leading goal scorer,
well, there is always drama and there is always incident when these two teams go head to head. There has been slugfest after slugfest when they have gone head to head in the last few seasons. Today, expect no different. Liverpool have been better against the better teams. Today, they have to be at their best. There is Manchester City's top scorer, the man who is about to break all the Premier League records in his first season. They need a couple more goals to match the achievements of Mohamed Salah. Simon Hooper is the man in charge. There's a shift in the power at the top of the referees with Simon Hooper taking charge of a game like this. And there's been a shift in the power at the top of the Premier League with Arsenal top of the pile and Manchester City desperately trying to get hold of their shirt tails. City, who you'd normally expect to put together a winning run of 10, 15 games, they do tend to do that most seasons. They haven't won 4 Premier League games on the spin yet this season. They have won the last 3 though, it's worth saying.
Well, I think you look at the record, I mean, it's 22 games here at the Etihad, 76 goals in all competitions. It's almost like 3.5 goals per game here, so that's the monumental task that Liverpool faced with coming here. It does look as if Liverpool have set up as a 4-4-2. Mohamed Salah looks to be played through the middle with Cody Gakpo.
That's Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester City's setup is particularly interesting today. They've got four pretty much centre-backs, haven't they, across the back. This is Grealish, on towards Alvarez. He's done one thing in his career that Erling Haaland didn't manage to do the other week. He got subbed off when he scored 5. Alvarez did score 6 in the colours of River Plate against Lancia Lima in the Copa Libertadores.
He has won the World Cup as well.
Yes, of course. Well, Gundogan has gone down here, having collided with, call it what you want, Fabinho. Certainly not the angle there to see what happened.
Well, I think if anything, he probably needs to cut his fingernails, Fabinho. I think that's the only thing that could have forced Gundogan to the ground there.
He's had a few sleepless nights of late, Ilkay Gundogan, having become a father this week. He pulled out of international duty, having had the pleasure of the birth of his first child. Of course, Fabinho had that earlier in the season, didn't he? Maybe they can exchange views on first-time fatherhood during this game. Here's Cody Gakpo. Liverpool's first attack, in by Robertson. Wasn't dealt with particularly well by Ake. Elliott. Alexander-Arnold. Fabinho, and Salah will go around the back. He won't get something of almost a quietness around the Etihad Stadium. It doesn't help. The 12:30 kickoff, it doesn't help. The first game back from an international break. I was here a couple of weeks ago when they gave Burnley a right old going over in the FA Cup, but for 30-35 minutes of that game they were really poor, Manchester City, and Burnley were the better team, but they score one and then they never look back. They run riot. Haaland gets a hat-trick, and
they have that capability of doing that to teams, haven't they? Liverpool, maybe a different prospect, running with the ball than most players, and a few more touches, you encourage more tackles. More tackles, certainly in this day and age, ends up being a free kick.
It's De Bruyne with the free kick, which is across the field to Riyad Mahrez. He took what he described as his worst ever free kick against Burnley. That's over the top of Gakpo. Mahrez. That's comfortable for Alisson from Alvarez.
It's a poor cross, wasn't it? It wasn't the most difficult ball in the world to play in as well. Manchester City did have bodies in there.
Ruben Diaz.
In a bit of a cagey start from both teams. Interesting the setups and the formations. John Stones playing in that central position when Man City have the ball. Liverpool certainly look as if they're lined up with a 2 up front with Gakpo and Mohamed Salah.
It's almost like the two sets of coaching staff and analysts are probably looking and thinking, thought it might happen, but
how can we get one up on the opposition?
Well, Fabinho's made his second foul of the game here, and it's going to prompt a word from Simon Hooper. Again, they were very minor infraction, it would seem.
To be honest with you, it's the slightest of contacts. I mean, as a defensive midfield player, or even any sort of defender, or even any sort of player that makes a tackle, I mean, you do so at your own peril these days, because you're making a legitimate challenge to try and win the ball. And well as just buying free kicks all over the pitch. It really is. It's a difficult art and skill these days.
I would suggest if there is another foul from Fabinho in the first half, it's a yellow card. Just a show of force from Simon Hooper early on. Here is Stones. Salah was trying to sneak the ball from Rodri. It's Ruben Dias for Grealish. Mahrez is making ground very quickly and being joined by Alvarez now. Grealish with a really poor pass. Stones, De Bruyne. And Gundogan. Alisson able to get down and deny Julian Alvarez.
Well, it does look offside, good man. I'm not quite sure if he is or not. That angle on that replay would suggest not. Chip the ball in, as you would expect from Kevin De Bruyne. Absolutely spot on.
That's where Elliott was a little off key. Symptomatic to the start of the game. Both sides have been at it. So Grealish's pass was really poor, wasn't it? A big role to play for England in the win over Italy. So many of these players had busy international breaks. Rodri there has had a bit of sulk after losing to your lot.
Yeah, well,
here is Diogo Jota for Liverpool.
It happens now and again. I think it was the 80s the last time it happened or something.
It was
a great result for Scotland, I have to say though.
Beat Andrew Robertson's lot. They beat Cyprus 3-0 as well. And to beat Spain 2-0 and win it the way they did, with plenty to spare, it felt like. Rodri after the game was describing Scotland's tactics. It was very uncomplimentary, shall we say, about the way they played. He's never been one that is shy, certainly in speaking. There's Ruben Dias.
That was a better time tackle by Fabinho.
Lovely flip by De Bruyne. Mahrez, it's a nice take. De Bruyne is the option on the outside. Van Dijk with the header. Mahrez, Rodri, caught it well, but it's the very safe hands of Alisson that keeps it out.
Well, Kevin De Bruyne getting to the byline. There's a big obstacle as Virgil van Dijk, and the shot from Rodri straight down the throat. Alisson Becker, save that you would expect the goalkeeper to make very comfortably, and he did so.
A lot of attention was put on Alisson not playing for Brazil in Morocco last week. Ederson was there. Ederson didn't play either. They actually elected to play Weverton, the 35-year-old veteran from Palmeiras, so I think that put it into perspective that they decided that the old veteran could get a game. Ederson was on the bench, Alisson was left at home. I think had it been an important game, obviously Alisson would have been there and would have played.
Would have been the World Cup final, I'm sure.
Elliott having a little go down this near side.
Well, I think in the build-up to this game, I think the manager Jurgen Klopp was talking about how Liverpool need to be better in possession and half possession. That wasn't the best time to come in with that kind of statement. Liverpool kept possession pretty well up till that pass by Virgil van Dijk, but that was a slack one.
It's not often he gets his little crossfielder on. Rodri. Very little difference to the way Manchester City have started the game, even though they are without Haaland. It's no surprise to see him go 10 minutes or so without a touch of the ball. It was always going to be the final piece of that jigsaw, but it's the jigsaw that has to win in the Champions League. That's where the pressure is for Manchester City. I mean, they're expected to win the Premier League every year. Arsenal's rise has been quite brilliant. That's a ball from Gundogan for Grealish. And he's travelled a long, long way. And De Bruyne. And Gakpo, who gave his teammate very little to work with. And Liverpool concede a free kick, but Gakpo might have sold his team into a bit of trouble there.
Cheap free kick, isn't it? In what is a really dangerous area.
I mentioned a little earlier Kevin De Bruyne saying he'd taken his worst ever free kick against Burnley the other week. It was at the other end of the ground. It went into the second tier. It was a shot from about 25 yards and he just ballooned it.
I know he's pain.
Yeah. You obviously.
I don't think I'd have the power to reach the second tier, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, you would with these balls, not with the old balls. Manchester City's free kick is in a good area. Looking to make Liverpool pay the penalty of conceding a free kick right on the edge of the box. It's Mahrez with his left foot. And it just doesn't come round enough for him.
Well, the one thing I would say that Alisson Becker, he's pretty rookie to the spot, isn't he? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he has his angles all right.
Like the Ogo Jota's position as well.
Yeah.
He's the far post blocker, isn't he? Rather than in the wall itself, and he stands up with his head up, doesn't he? Gakpo's being, well, it looked like he was being fouled. There's another nipple at Gundogan. Van Dijk was absolutely steaming through Rodri. That's Van Dijk against De Bruyne. It's a ball by Henderson for Elliott. Now then, counter-attack, 4 against 3. Salah, Aki the defender. Salah beats him, beats Rodri. It's going to come for Elliott. Aki's in the way. That was very promising for Liverpool for a moment. Good block to deny Mohamed Salah.
It's a passing play that really epitomises what these two teams are all about, passion and aggression, but some lovely passing through the lines as well, certainly from Liverpool on that occasion. A little bit of an overload there for a second on that right hand side, just couldn't get a clear effort and goal.
There's Van Dijk to Konate. I imagine that Konate might have had some good-natured stick for his centre-back partner. Been given him a bit of a pasting last week. There's Fabinho. Liverpool worked their way out nicely there. That's Alexander-Arnold. And Diogo Jota is onside. He has the run on goal. He has Akanji coming. And Salah's arriving. Goal for Liverpool. Mohamed Salah strikes him into the lead at the Etihad. Huge moment, huge goal. Who else? Mohamed Salah.
Well, I'm sure it'll be looked at from VAR. But Liverpool can celebrate at this moment in time. It looks as if the goal will stand. There's certainly a question about Mohamed Salah, who eventually breaks the record that was set by Michael Owen for away goals in the Premier League. This is the decision there. It looks like Akanji's played Diogo Jota on. Again, we'll have to just wait and see, but he does really well, Jota. Probably doesn't have the pace to get away. Akanji gets back at him, he knows that and he appreciates that, and he just sets it back and makes a block for Akanji as well, not to get to the shot from Mohamed Salah, who from that sort of position, well, you've got to back him, haven't you? 9 times out of 10 he's going to score, if not 10 out of 10. And as I say, records just tumble when this man plays. And against Manchester City this season, he's been absolutely awesome.
Well, that's how tight it is. It's always tight at the Etihad. We've seen the ball played off the goal line, but it practically over the goal line the other year. That time it went against Liverpool. This time it goes for Liverpool. And it was put on an absolute plate, wasn't it? I mean, it couldn't have been set up any nicer for Mohamed Salah.
Well, they'll do little drills like that in training. In fact, you can actually see them doing little drills like that in the warm-up before the games, certainly at Anfield. It just sets players up, and it's, well, Mohamed Salah on his left foot in a position like that, it's a dream come true for him.
It's Henderson, and here's Gakpo. It's a foul by Stones. Even, I mean, I know it'll sound absolutely crazy, but even in beating Burnley 6-0 in the FA, early on Burnley broke their way through 2 or 3 times, and they just couldn't take the chances that they created. And there is that vulnerability that Manchester City have of being caught high and with the